As you watch a great horror movie, your heart begins to beat faster. There's a fluttering in the pit of your stomach. Your throat is dry. Your palms are damp. Suddenly, a chill runs down your spine. You clutch the person next to you. You tell yourself, it's only a movie. But in some cases, it's not only a movie. That's today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details
That has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death
In entertainment.
Well, hello there, Deado Nation. It's time to rise.
Whoa, what are we starting?
Put your hands together.
Because we're going in to the stories behind the stories. The ones that make you can't sleep at night. Ooh. 3 of our top horror movies ever have come from real, true, terrifying stories.
We don't have to oversell it.
No, but I wanted to. What's up, everybody? My name's Kyle Plouffe.
My name is Mark Mulcairn.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
And since we already told you what we're doing here, why don't we just get right into the pop culture flash?
Yes.
Okay, Mark,
Yes.
can you please explain what we're doing for Pop Culture Flash today?
Yeah, we're doing something a little different this week, Alejandro and Deados. I'm going to be listing off the top 5 highest grossing horror movies based on lifetime domestic gross, which is a very important marker there.
Yes.
Yes.
We're not doing just profit. We're just doing domestic gross, which is everyone just going to see it,
Yeah.
which is the best way to measure mass appeal. Let's be honest here.
Can I guess? Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2,
No.
and Friday... Okay.
Okay. By saying that, you would be 100% wrong, and I'm going to tell you what they are. Number 5, highest grossing lifetime domestic horror movies. Number 5 is The Exorcist, 1973's version, of course.
Oh, not the new one?
Not the new one. Surprise,
man.
surprise.
The new one would be lowest.
Well, this is also 1973, where you don't really have a lot of media options out there. There's no streaming. There's no TikTok. It's just The Exorcist or nothing, or jerking off in your dad's, basement.
You're jerking off in my basement again?
You're grounded. I told you not to jerk off in my basement.
Get up here, boy.
Well, also important to note that The Exorcist made $232.9 million.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I wonder if that includes the version you've never seen before that was released in 2001 or 2000.
Wait, which one's that?
William Friedkin and William Peter Blatty, the author of the original book, they got together and restored 12 minutes of footage that was cut from the original.
Oh.
And it was released theatrically in the year 2000.
Yeah, they added her going upside down, backwards down the stairs.
The spider walk.
And that's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I think I've seen that one. Now, isn't that just what's considered the usual Exorcist that people watch?
William Friedkin thinks it's the definitive version now.
Yeah.
Okay, why would they cut that though? The studio's like, yeah, everything else is normal here. Her going crazy and yelling Satan and say fuck me and stuff.
Yeah.
But not that.
Not that, yeah.
Not
Maybe spiders were too much for 70s audiences. Yeah. John Peters hadn't had a chance to make his claim yet.
I knew we were going to mention John Peters here.
No, but I actually know the real... sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
The real reason it was cut is because they couldn't take out the strings.
So what, they did it digitally in 2000?
Exactly. But the technology wasn't there.
They started doing that a lot. Remember, didn't they digitally reproduce E.T. or did a remaster version in which they took the guns out?
Yeah, we talked about that in the 9/11
did talk
episode.
With walkie-talkies.
Yeah. which is stupid. Like they're gonna take like the movie World Trade Center. They're gonna take out the planes.
That'll show him.
Yeah.
The towers are just two walkie-talkies instead.
Yeah.
It's just giant.
No box cutters. We're gonna edit them out.
Someone is watching E.T. They see the guns.
Yeah.
Whoa! I'm having flashbacks to Tower 2.
I can buy the aliens and all, and the government being horrible, but no guns, please. Number 4, Ghostbusters, 1984's version, obviously.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
242.2 million, which is again, these are like that's a high-grossing movie. I don't know what Bill Murray doesn't have to do anything else after that, probably.
Neither does Huey Lewis.
Yeah,
He's
he
got
made
Ghostbusters and Back to the Future.
Wait, he didn't do the song Ghostbusters.
Oh, wait, that was, fuck.
Billy something.
Oh, wait, but he ripped it off. Or who?
No,
who,
yeah. No, there was a case
I got us all confused now.
a couple of years ago. No, but Alejandro's right because someone did this song, but they ripped off the riff.
It's hip to be square.
It was definitely from the album Sports.
Oh, shortly after the film's release, Huey Lewis sued Ray Parker Jr.
Yes, Ray Parker Jr. is the guy.
for plagiarism, alleging that Parker had copied the melody, primarily the bass line, from Lewis's 1983 song, I Want a New Drug.
Yes.
The case was settled out of court in 1985 for an undisclosed sum and a confidentiality agreement that prohibited discussion of the case.
So he must have got a lot of that money.
Yeah.
It probably just all just funneled right to Huey Lewis' fucking bank account, like he needed also.
Yeah.
But don't feel too bad for Ray Parker Jr. because he had a bunch of other big hits and probably made a lot of money later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not like he's not doing like a tribute tour or anything, or no one's asking him to come out of retirement for anything.
There's no B-sides to play
Yeah.
at the reunion.
There's no
concert.
A-sides either.
Yeah.
Number 3, Jaws, 1975's version, of course. $260 million.
That is the one that started it all in terms of big box office movies.
Yeah.
Summer 1975.
Yeah, it definitely was a brand new thing, like the big box office director.
Yeah. And it really capitalized on just terrifying people.
Yeah, but the shark, when it comes onto the boat, is the weirdest. If you can get over that, I think most people can, but it looks so fake.
They called him Bruce, didn't they?
Yeah.
The machine.
And
Oh,
it was
did they?
malfunctioning the whole time.
Yeah, that must have been a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, let's put a robot in the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, now you know why Steven Spielberg cuts away from Jaws so fast in the movie.
Yeah.
of
He
course.
doesn't want you to get a good look at
Out
it.
of
All about
necessity.
the build up and the suspense, and by the time you see it, you're like, oh, that thing's ridiculous. Number 2, The Sixth Sense, 1999 version. Well, there's no version. With $293.5 million.
Wow.
M. Night Shyamalan, what happened?
Donnie Wahlberg, what happened?
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Haley Joel Osment, what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Whatever happened to that kid? Maybe he retired off this money.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised they don't remake this. I'm surprised Danny McBride hasn't written a screenplay starring Timothy Chalamet.
You know what? I bet
God.
he has. And it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan would be like, I love this movie because he's going to make money off it. Number 1, highest grossing domestic gross movies, horror movies.
What?
Whatever.
Gross and the gross.
Yeah, you guys get it. Number 1 is It from 2017's version. Which that makes sense there because there were other versions.
Yes.
On TV
Yes.
primarily.
Yeah, we finally got to the
Yeah.
actual version.
With $327.5 million.
The actual version? What's wrong with Tim Curry?
No, I'm saying we got to an actual thing where there's another version.
Oh.
Because he keeps saying version.
Yeah. Well, there is another Exorcist. There is another Ghostbusters. There is another Jaws, but Sixth Sense is the only one where there's not another version.
Oh, yeah, that's true, I guess.
I rest my
Technically,
case.
there's not another Exorcist, though. There's sequels or
Requels.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They're not going back to the original, or not doing like a Gus Van Sant shot-for-shot remake of Psycho or
Right.
something.
Yeah, but they all suck.
They do.
Yeah, they're totally unnecessary, and let's just move on to more movies.
Yeah.
Not right now, though, but one more thing to mention here. The top-grossing franchise horror movie of all time is The Conjuring.
Yeah.
The overall franchise.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just hard to believe. I bet if you count merchandise, it has to be Halloween or Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I think in overall significance, Jaws is like one of the biggest movies ever. 1980s blockbusters really started in 1975.
Mm-hmm. After Jaws, they're like, we're going to need a bigger box office.
But noise. But a good distinction to make here is that these are just grossing. This isn't like just profitability. Because if we were talking about profitability, I think Paranormal Activity and Kyle, what's the one you thought was real?
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch. Yeah, that's like the biggest money maker ever based on dollar in and money made.
Yeah, the original Paranormal Activity only cost like $10,000 to make.
Yeah.
And then they ended up making like hundreds of millions. So
that's why everyone's trying to make those movies all the time, and they all suck.
yeah, but now that I'm thinking about it, the Conjuring franchise also includes Annabelle, The Nun. There's like a bunch of
the
different
Nun's
shoot-offs.
part of that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And The Conjuring 2.
And 3. Yeah, so take that. It's gonna keep going too because they're having a
What's going to keep going?
the money. Hello.
The movie It. Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Turn it off.
They got a TV show that's coming out, so that's gonna be a part of the franchise as well.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna count dollars for a while.
Is Bill Hader coming back?
Hopefully.
I like the story of the only reason why they got him is because one of the kids they were a fan of him,
Yeah.
and they were like, I want that guy to play my my older self, and he's like, and it's just Bill Hader.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'll guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
Is that how Hollywood works?
Yeah, does a kid point? It's the opposite now. Usually the old guy points the kid in the picture, put the kid in the picture. But now it's a kid who puts the old guy in the picture.
Yeah.
The Bill Hader stays in the picture.
you
Yes,
go.
exactly.
All right. And we
And the
stay.
dog. What's that? Sorry, say that. Say that again.
I had nothing.
And we stay in this picture.
Let's hope so.
On to horror movies.
Yeah.
So we're going to be discussing 3 movies today. 3 movies that are very near and dear to our hearts.
Well, in some cases, they've been destroyed by other people who kind of take them on after their popularity and stuff.
Yeah, not everybody respects the IP.
No, but are they trying to destroy it sometimes, I wonder? Like, I don't know. I'm sure we're going to go into it, but sometimes
Yes.
I wonder, like, this is a very once respected, great franchise, and why is this person who I also like running it into the ground? Like, what's the intent here? How are they incentivized in doing this?
I really don't know.
We're going to get into that.
Okay.
But first, let's discuss the one, the only Halloween. It had a budget of $300,000 and then another $25,000 for a veteran actor who turned out to be Donald Pleasance.
Ooh.
After Peter Cushing turned it down.
Oh, no way.
I don't know who either of those people are, but I do remember the movie, obviously. But who did this person play?
Donald Pleasance?
Yeah.
Dr. Sam Loomis.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I clearly don't know the movie as well as you guys.
No, not even close.
He's got the Freddy t-shirt on.
Yeah.
And Peter Cushing is the bad guy from the original Star Wars,
Oh.
who they digitally recreated in that Rogue One movie.
Yes.
But yeah, so Halloween, pretty small budget, $300,000 or $325,000, and they shot it over the course of 20 days.
That's
And
a quick shoot.
It is.
Yeah.
And the movie went on to gross $47 million in the U.S. box office alone.
Cha-ching.
1978 money.
Damn.
Damn. Right now, that'd be like $1.5 billion.
It'd be the same worth as Amazon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is considered one of the most successful independent films of all time. And just to refresh your memory, Mark, because it sounds like you need a little refresher here.
I could use it.
Halloween is about a kid named Michael Myers
Yeah, I knew that.
who snaps and kills his sister when he's a young kid on Halloween night in the 1960s. He's sent to a psychiatric hospital, and then he doesn't say a word for 14 years. And his doctor, Donald Pleasance, Dr. Sam Loomis, named after a character from the movie Psycho.
Oh.
He studies Michael Myers and determines that this kid is purely and simply evil. And then on Halloween 1978, Michael Myers escapes, and then he goes to his hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, and stalks a bunch of babysitters. That's basically it.
How dare you sit that baby?
Does he just hate baby? Oh, the babysitters were mean to him when he was younger. That's why.
His sister, maybe.
Yeah.
They remind him of his sister, who
Oh, yeah. There's always
hates.
an evil sister out there.
Obviously, this movie has been copied countless times, famously by Friday the 13th, because that was named after a holiday and had a bunch of teenagers being murdered.
Yep.
Wait, so Halloween came before Friday the 13th?
It did.
Okay, so that's the original one.
2 years before.
2 years before.
Friday the 13th was released in 1980.
But it was totally inspired by Halloween.
Yeah.
But that kind of created the genre of like the slasher camp teenager thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would argue that the first slasher was maybe Psycho in 1960, but Halloween certainly took it to another level. Because the music, like take the music out of the movie. It's good, but it wouldn't be as frightening. John Carpenter's score just gets in your head, and it's completely tense.
Yeah.
Did he do his own score? He did his own music for it?
Yeah, he did. And he wrote it with his girlfriend, Deborah Hill. John Carpenter had been successful by this point. He had a movie called Assault on Precinct 13.
That's a good movie. Not the remake with Ethan Hawke.
No. And in fact, Donald Pleasance's daughter saw that movie, liked the soundtrack for some reason, and then told her dad to do Halloween.
No shit.
Otherwise, Donald Pleasance wouldn't have done it.
Wow.
Which is funny because he was one of the only ones who was in all the sequels until he died. So clearly he ended up loving it because it was a big moneymaker.
Yeah, that usually helps. He sees the
Yeah.
check.
And he was the host of Terror in the Isles.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Terror in the Isles.
What is that?
I borrowed some of the narration from today's teaser from the movie Terror in the Isles, which was released theatrically. It's a compilation of horror movie clips
Speaking of running things in the ground.
hosted by Donald Pleasance. And we have a clip. This is the scene that features a climactic moment between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, as shown in the movie Terror in the Isles.
There's no question about it. Some terror films go too far,
Mommy, unlock the door.
but so do the audiences.
I want to go down the stairs and out the front door. I want to go down the street to Mackenzie's house.
First, they start grabbing each other, which is all very well if you have a date.
I want you to tell them to call the police.
No judgment.
Before
Look at this
long,
guy.
Now, do you understand me?
Look at this guy.
No, baby, no, people are yelling at the characters on the screen.
Watch out, baby. Watch out. Please stop.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Get him! Don't drop the knife, asshole!
I guess Jamie Lee Curtis gets asked that all the time.
What?
Why did she throw down the knife in that scene?
Don't drop the knife, asshole.
I mean, he said what we're all thinking.
Yeah, but this is also like a tutorial on how they wanted you to act in the theater too. Like get into it, scream, and
Yeah.
go crazy. Because usually people are like, sit down, shut up, respect the movie.
Yeah. People like throwing shit at the screen and stuff.
You can't yell, "Don't drop the knife, asshole!"
Asshole!
Asshole!
Asshole! Why
Yeah.
you drop the fucking knife?
Yeah, Vafangu, you fucking knife dropper.
Yeah, I think it wasn't exactly like that when audiences first saw it.
Well, I mean, if they saw it in like fucking L.A. or Harlem, it probably was.
Okay. Yeah.
What was
I've
like-
gone and I've witnessed it myself. Okay, let's not act.
Well, I was always interested in finding out. I think we talked about in previous episodes that where the mask comes from is actually William Shatner mask from Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you can see it in our Halloween Fun Facts video.
Yeah.
Yes.
We talk about that and play the clip of William Shatner, I guess, describing when he first realized it was his mask.
Yeah.
And he's rambling.
Yeah.
He's like, well, they made a mold of my face and on Star Trek. And then, But yeah, so what was true in Halloween? That's what we're here to discuss.
What are
today.
the real life facts that actually did this was all based on?
So first of all, the film takes place in the fictional town of Haddonfield, Illinois. It was actually shot in South Pasadena, and I've been to all the spots.
Same.
You can see the shrub where Michael Myers peers over,
Oh.
and the old Myers house. Well, there is no Haddonfield, Illinois, obviously, but there is a Haddonfield, New Jersey, where producer and screenwriter Deborah Hill was from.
Oh, so it was inspired by her hometown a little bit.
Yes, it was.
But why Illinois of all places? Why go there?
Midwest.
Yeah, maybe that just because it plays to a lot of other places in the U.S., so that's why they went
Any
at it.
town, USA.
Yeah, because New Jersey sounds like, Tony Soprano's going to be involved in it or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And you can see all the greenery in Halloween if you watch it knowing it's South Pasadena. It really doesn't look like Illinois at all. But yet, it still works.
Pasadena's a beautiful place.
I call it an imperfect, perfect movie. Not everything adds up, but it works.
Yeah.
And for some of the shots of the leaves blowing, they were just throwing leaves off camera, and they had a fan blowing it. And you know who one of the people was that threw leaves for a day?
Who?
Robert Englund,
Get out of here.
He was like a PA?
or a friend of John Carpenter.
Oh, okay. So he was just helping out on set.
Yeah.
leaf blower.
Or maybe he was just a landscaper at the time
Yeah, maybe.
and accidentally got his leaves on camera. And it worked out.
The leaves stay in the camera.
And
The
then
picture.
we didn't mention the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis was unknown at that time and that her parents were Janet Leigh from Psycho and Tony Curtis from Some Like It Hot.
Funny how that happens.
So this is Hollywood royalty.
But if you're thinking from a casting perspective from the producers of this film, you don't want to take a big chance. If you have a shot at getting the daughter of a huge two actors, one of whom was a big horror actress, why not do it?
It's a good headline. Gets
Yeah.
eyes on the movie. Hell yeah.
Obviously, I think Jamie Lee Curtis acknowledges today that she definitely got a leg up from having showbiz parents.
Yeah, on the Oscar circuit because she won for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah.
She called herself a Nepo baby.
Yeah,
So she gets it.
Yeah.
she gets it.
And the other weird thing about her is that she's married to Christopher Guest.
That is interesting.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for one of their family dinners.
It's probably madness. He's probably trying to sing fake folk songs the
Yeah.
whole time.
And she got in trouble recently because on an Instagram post or something, people saw a really disturbing photo in the background on her wall of a naked child in a box.
Oh.
I remember this.
And then she had to explain, like, oh, it's my artist friend, but I understand why you're disturbed, so I took it down. Don't worry. Excuse me?
Where'd she put it?
I don't know.
In the dungeon?
Where'd she put the kid?
Yeah, she put it with the actual kid in the box.
What's in the box? That's Jerry Seinfeld as Brad Pitt. What's in the box? Come on.
Sorry.
Okay,
Should have
now
known what's in the box.
that brings us to Michael Myers, the OG boogeyman. Am I right?
Yes.
Some say that Michael Myers was in part based on a real sicko named Edward Paisnel, known as the Beast of Jersey,
That's a great name.
but not New Jersey.
Oh.
Jersey, an island on the English Channel.
Oh.
So this creep stalked victims for long periods of time. Sometimes he would wait weeks before making a strike. The family of his wife, Joan, owned a children's community center where he was known to help out, and even dressed as Santa Claus once for a Christmas party. No ho ho ho.
Well, I mean...
Whoa.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird Christmas party if this guy's doing it.
At night, the kids would hear creaking in the floorboards, and they would see shadows lurking around. Other times, they would see a man wearing a hideous rubber mask. Some of the kids were then whisked away and assaulted. Many kids never returned. Nobody suspected Edward because there was already a suspect who had been arrested. He was a local fisherman named Alfonso Legastoles. I don't know that name. Alfonso Legastoloes.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
One of the main reasons.
Alfonso Morning.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons he was a suspect is because he loved going on long walks at night, and he was an eccentric. Eventually, he was cleared of all charges, but that didn't stop the public perception, which resulted in somebody burning down his house. And I ain't talking about the Talking Head song.
Burning down the house.
Alfonso Ruby Lagastololes left town after that.
You know what I noticed? A lot of people with weird names turn into crazy murderers because I think it's the name. I think they're just tired of people doing that to their name.
Kyle Plouffe, Kyle Plouffe, Plouffe.
Kyle, you going for a weird walk later tonight when it gets dark?
Gonna go for a weird walk.
Kyle does make butter noodles at 3 a.m. every day, though. I don't know what's weirder.
That's to save everybody when I run out of butter noodles. You're all dead.
He just cooks them with two big knives.
So Alfonso left town. But wouldn't you know it, the attacks continued. Then in July 1971, Edward was pulled over and police found his mask and outfit.
I don't know, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, though, here.
He ended up being convicted of 13 counts of assault, rape, and sodomy.
Okay, never mind.
His wife, Joan, wrote a book about him in 1972 called The Beast of Jersey.
That kind of sounds like a really good Springsteen album.
Or a Rolling Stones song.
Yeah.
I'll never be the Beast of Jersey.
Yeah, maybe collabora with the boss.
Edward was released from prison at one point and died in 1994 of natural causes.
Ooh.
But it does not end here, the story. In 2008, the remains of dozens of children were found buried in the cellar and surrounding fields of 2 of those child care homes in Jersey.
In Jersey, meaning the island in the middle.
Yes, on the
English
Channel.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And a couple of these child care homes were also visited by entertainer Jimmy Savile.
What?
Oh, no.
Savile!
They can't catch a fucking break.
So they survived the Beast of Jersey only to be visited by Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Sticky Fingers Savile.
The Beast of BBC.
Yeah.
So this Edward...
The BBB Beast.
Yeah. There's something better. We'll workshop that. We'll get there sometime.
So if that's the case, then that makes Edward Paisnel one of the most prolific killers in history.
That we know of. Like, I'm sure, you know.
He was never charged with any of the murders. And why did law enforcement not intervene sooner? It was all very hush-hush because the family that owned these child care centers wanted to keep it a secret.
Sounds very True Detective, kind of.
I mean, it's sickening. Think of it, it's like an orphanage where 65 kids go missing.
Yeah.
Come
65, my God.
Anyone that wants to open a child care center or something like that, that's not like some, old, nice woman, I'm very skeptical of. It's some dude like,
Right.
I want to start a child care center. Like, why?
They can live in my place.
We'll have a big basement and, it'll be fun.
I just like to see the smile on the kids' faces.
Yeah.
It's okay to sleep with kids.
That's okay. We can use my bed.
All right, well, I think most of the inspiration people think comes from that guy's mask. You see it right there?
Yep.
Yeah, that's frightening.
It's like one of the guys from Slipknot.
Yeah.
Except not as scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, there's not much of a relation to Michael Myers. And John Carpenter has never said that he was inspired by this case.
So you just assume because it was out there in the zeitgeist, if you will, that
Perhaps.
he might have pulled from that.
Perhaps.
And then there's the case of a guy named Stanley Stiers.
See, another weird name.
He was born in 1912 in small town Ohio.
Stinky Stanley.
He accidentally got switched at birth. And the other family...
Like as a transition?
Okay.
No, literally, you know...
Kyle's touching all the hot button issues.
I'm not even going to... The other family perished in a car wreck on the way home from the hospital.
With the other kid?
Yeah.
What?
And Stanley's parents learned of the switch and resented him. They often physically abused him and called him names. They ended up having a daughter named Susie a few years later. She also hated her younger brother. Then in October 1923,
Piece of shit younger brother.
Stanley snapped.
Older brother.
When Susie returned from a Halloween party, he killed her with a large kitchen knife. The incident shocked the community. Stanley was sent to a psychiatric hospital where he sat almost comatose for 13 years before snapping again. He killed a couple of orderlies and escaped. Police tried to shoot him as he disappeared into the night, but they either missed or the bullets jumped right off his back.
What the fuck?
He was never seen.
He's like Magneto or something.
He was never seen again.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. How old was he when he's dodging bullets? Like he's like Neo in the Matrix.
Would have been about 21 or something.
Yeah, okay. Well, I have a hot theory about this scenario here. I think the other family, they saw what their kid looked like. They're like, that kid's fucking ugly. Let's take this better looking kid and get the fuck out of here. And then they're driving like 100 down the road where they don't really have to probably.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Before you get too much into this anymore,
You made it all up.
it's completely fake.
What?
Son of a bitch.
What the fuck?
This is one of those urban legends, creepy pasta things, and some people believe that the story's real and that there was a guy named Stanley Stiers and that was the inspiration for Michael Myers.
Okay.
So I thought for fun I'd present it like a real story.
You lied to me.
The butcher
I want
of
my
Jersey,
money back.
the butcher of Jersey was real though.
Sir, do you know you've been drinking Colombian decaffeinated crystals?
You
What?
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Chris Farley, 1993.
Now let's get to the real story. In reality, John Carpenter based the character off of a creepy encounter he had while attending Western Kentucky University.
Seems like there's a lot of those there.
And we have a clip.
A lot of creepy encounters there.
When I was in college, I had a class, psychology or something, and we visited a mental institution, and this was in Kentucky. And I visited the most serious mentally ill patients. Then there was this kid, I must have been 12 or 13, and he literally had this look that I gave the lines to Donald Pleasance to say,
blank, pale, emotionless face, and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
It's a schizophrenic stare, is what it is. It's a real evil stare. And it was unsettling to me. And it was like the creepiest thing I'd ever seen, just because as a stranger, it was completely insane.
Dun, dun, dun.
I like that. He doesn't mention like it was part of my studies just to go to this insane asylum, but maybe that's something they just did. Hey, would you guys want to go to the insane asylum down the street?
Well, in those days, they would do a lot of stuff like that in classes.
You want to go poke the crazies with a stick?
All right, we're kind of out of stuff to do in this class, so we're going to go down the street to the insane asylum. Everyone ready?
Yeah, there would be field trips to the sanitarium or old haunted houses.
To the morgue.
Yeah. Let's learn how dead bodies work.
Yeah. Let's go dig up a dead body at the funeral home.
Carpenter has also said that he based the adult version of Michael Myers on Yul Brynner's robotic assassin from the movie Westworld.
Oh, not to be confused with the TV show.
No. And Michael Myers is referred to as the Shape in the script and credits of Halloween. And incidentally, the word shape was used by the judges in the Salem witch trials to describe the harmful spirits. And the name comes from his friend Michael Myers, who was the European distributor of Assault on Precinct 13.
Ooh. Oh, shit. That's a good perk. Maybe instead of like paying him, he's like, I'll put your name in this.
It was done.
He's like, oh, I'm excited. Then he watched the movie like, what?
It was done as a thank you for Mr. Myers for that film's box office success around the world.
Very nice.
It's a nice payback.
And I don't think Mike Myers is too happy about that name.
The comedian.
Yeah.
He should be more worried about the Cat in the Hat. and the Love Guru.
The Love Guru, I was going to say.
He could have changed his name.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
No.
I mean, that's bold, and I think he powered through. If he was a lesser comedian, I think he would not have outlived that.
Yeah, fair enough. Because of the film's tight budget, now we're getting to The Mask. Tommy Lee Wallace, who went on to become a director, by the way, and he directed Fright Night 2. He's the guy from the Menendez episode that goes, "Fuck Lyle and Eric."
Yeah. Ruined my movie.
Yeah, they ruined my movie.
Yeah, that guy's really cares about that family.
They killed their parents and they killed my movie.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Little bitch.
So he first came up with that Emmett Kelly mask, a smiling clown mask. They all agreed it was creepy. But then he also had a 1975 Captain James T. Kirk mask that was purchased in a costume shop on Hollywood Boulevard for $1.98. The eyebrows and sideburns were ripped off, face was painted white, and the hair was sprayed brown. And they opened up the eyes. After testing out the mask, the crew decided that it was much creepier, and a legend was born.
Bum, bum, bum.
They also considered a Richard Nixon mask at some point.
I am not a murderer.
That might have been too scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nixon?
Do the wah wah. In the movie Point Break, one of the bank robbers wears a Nixon mask.
That's true. That's scary. And there's a Reagan one, too. Oh, well, yes.
Well.
Yeah. I believe I pooped my
Looks
panties.
like we're robbing this bank. Now, where did I park the getaway car?
Nancy, where's the car?
So that's the story of Michael Myers and Halloween. Sort of based on facts, but not really.
Yeah.
It's mainly, as Deborah Hill put it, a list of scares. They came up with. Like, wouldn't it be scary if the boyfriend wears a sheet and it's not the boyfriend, it's a killer in the middle of the night?
In the middle of the night.
Well, I'm sure that's how you write a horror. You just good, like a lot of beats of like, but you know, there has to be a big scare like every 5 pages or something, or else you're not doing your job.
Yeah, just a list of scare sketches.
But I want to know what led them to make Mike Myers only be able to run like 2 miles per hour. He like has a.
He only walks.
Yeah, because he's disturbed.
Okay.
He didn't speak for 20 years and now he's free. What do you want?
Yeah.
You think he's going to be Usain Bolt or something? I mean, the man is learning.
There's no physical prowess for this, but he is strong. He has like supernatural strength.
He's learning how to reintegrate into society.
Yeah, he's got like bum strength.
Oh, boy. Jesus.
I don't think that's the term.
Maybe I just made that up.
By the way, writer-producer Deborah Hill died of colon cancer in March 2005.
Oh, jeez.
The last movie she produced was World Trade Center.
Wow.
And
really?
Yep. And Mustafa Akkad, you see his name before every Halloween movie. The credits start with Mustafa Akkad Presents because he was the original financier and producer. And he's the one that owned the rights moving forward. So he made a bunch of sequels. And he had a clause in the contract that Michael Myers could never be killed off.
Wow.
Huh.
So this guy wanted to make money till the end. And unfortunately for him, the end came on November 9th, 2005, months after Deborah Hill died.
Jeez.
Mustafa and his daughter were killed in the bombing of the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Amman, Jordan, during a series of coordinated attacks by Al-Qaeda.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be natural causes for sure.
he would have still been making Halloween movies now.
Yeah.
His son took it over and helped produce the 2018 version.
No shit. That's
wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, one of the original team members dies of a brutal disease, and then he just happens to be in the one hotel that fucking blows up in another country. Like, holy shit.
That is, I feel like bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
fucking Al-Qaeda, man.
On a worse note,
this guy's no good.
That 2018 version really destroyed the good name of Halloween.
Wait, so what? I haven't seen the 2018 version. I don't know a lot about it. Is it just really that bad that it just really makes the entire franchise just like really take a nosedive?
That one's okay if you take out Michael Myers. Like, you can still have the killer. It's just not Michael Myers. Then it's kind of a fun movie. Because Jamie Lee Curtis's character is a survivalist, doomsday prepper, crazy lady.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Rightfully so, probably.
Yeah. And then the sequels, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, they were pure trash.
Really?
Directed by David Gordon Green, written by Danny McBride. Ugh.
Yeah, I remember him saying that he was like a big horror fan. I'm like, dude, just stick to the comedy stuff.
Yeah, these movies seem like they weren't made by horror fans. Danny McBride's a big Halloween fan, yet he negates Halloween 2, the real sequel, which I get it. Some people say it's not as good as the original. That's fine. But as a movie in and of itself, it's incredibly influential. And what they came up with was not a better sequel than Halloween 2. Mic drop.
When you say negate, that was, well said. You mean like he's not acknowledging some of the things that did happen in the real sequel part 2?
Nothing is acknowledged.
Really?
It takes place literally after Halloween 1, the new trilogy.
Oh, okay. So he's just ignoring all that happened.
Yeah.
The changing canonical events.
Not smart.
Yeah.
That's a big word there.
Yeah, I know. Kyle he's doing a lot of research on his computer, let's be honest.
Retconning, it's called.
Yeah, thesaurus.com.
Yeah. And we will actually have more on David Gordon Green and Danny McBride in a little bit.
Yeah.
And to end this Halloween section, you know how sometimes life imitates art? Well, a fan got up at the 2018 Comic-Con convention where Jamie Lee was there to promote the new trash Halloween movie, and he told her that she saved his life. Shall we see what that was all about?
Yes.
Let's check it out.
I'm just really grateful for the movie Halloween because 34 years ago it saved my life. I was in a situation where someone had cut the phone wires and a guy was running around with a knife. I was scared out of my mind, and out of nowhere, this thought inside of me went, well, what would Jamie Lee Curtis do? Our dog, Duchess, bit up these knitting needles, and so I grabbed them out of the trash, and I saw the guy with the knife on one side of the house. I ran down to the neighbor, started screaming like you did in the movie. To make a long story short,
Too late.
I'm here today because of the way that you portrayed Laurie Strode. I'm a victor today instead of a victim. Wow. You're the only reason I came to Comic-Con this year.
And now they're crying and hugging each other. I mean, it's a nice story, but I find it a little hard to believe that watching the movie Halloween saved him in real life from a killer.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, if you remember, Jamie Lee Curtis stupidly throws down the knife.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers
Drop the knife, asshole!
Can easily grab it and kill her. So if you are following that movie and looking for ways to learn how to survive, that ain't it.
Yeah, don't do what she
It was
does.
basically go outside and scream. Oh, whoa, look at that. What a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, he's a horror nut. He wanted his big moment, and I'm glad he survived.
And I bet you they go backstage and she goes, security, get this guy the fuck out of here.
Yeah, how many crazy horror fans has she had to deal with?
Oh, I can imagine.
That That was one of the normal ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it was done in public. They're probably showing up to her place being like, I love you.
You saved my life.
And now I'm going to take yours.
Yeah, they're jumping through the window. You saved me.
Smashing it. Just,
Yeah. It's like World War Z. They're just like zombies coming in all day.
Then he goes, I have framed pictures of naked kids just like you. And with that brings us to The Exorcist. Based on the best-selling novel by William Peter Blatty, published in 1971, sold 13 million copies. After that, naturally, movie had to be made.
Dun, dun, dun.
After several other directors turned it down, Blatty remembered meeting a brash young filmmaker on the set of the TV crime drama Peter Gunn. On that set, Friedkin told the director Blake Edwards that his script was the worst piece of shit he'd ever seen in his life.
Wow.
And
Blake Edwards kind of sucked.
Yeah, and so Blake Edwards fired Friedkin, but Blatty remembered that he appreciated his honesty. So he thought of him for The Exorcist because he wanted the movie to be honest and gritty and feel like docu-style. And in between the novel being really successful and needing a director from the movie, Friedkin's The French Connection came out, and he won the Oscar for Best Director for that. And that movie is that cinema verite kind of thing. We've talked about it before where he just jumped on top of the car and started filming for the chase scene.
Yeah.
Didn't care if he lived or died to get the shot.
He has a legendary biography that he did the audio commentary for. And he said he would never do that again. It was just the most irresponsible thing anyone could have done in their life, doing those chase scenes.
Yeah.
It was just so dangerous because they really didn't have many permits at all. I don't even think they had a permit to do anything they were doing there.
I don't think he had a driver's license.
They were risking like people's lives, just like regular people in the street.
Yeah, it was really on the street.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
And you could argue that that's why the movie was so successful.
Because you feel it there.
Yeah. And so he got the job for The Exorcist. And to refresh everyone, it centers on 12-year-old Reagan McNeil, played by Linda Blair, and she's possessed by the demon Pazuzu. Her actress mom, Chris, played by Ellen Burstyn, seeks the help of two Catholic priests, Father Cadas, played by Jason Miller in his first role, actually, and Father Marin, played by Max von Sydow, to perform an exorcism and save her life. And things get kind of crazy.
It's a little wacky.
Not a real easy watch.
No, it gets a little intense at times.
It was a tough shoot. It went on for over 9 months. The movie was finally released on December 26, 1973. Nice Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Take the family. And Friedkin said he was editing up until December 25th.
Wow.
A wet print, they call it.
Why do they call it that?
Because it was horny.
Because he came on.
Because it was hot off the press, barely finished by the time it was sent out to theaters.
Oh, really? Just kind of rushed it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with the movie Cats.
Oh, my God. Different outcomes, varying outcomes.
Yeah. Scarier movie, I might add.
Yeah, like how did they get the financing?
And so this caused a sensation, The Exorcist. They call it cinematic neurosis, which is the distress that the film triggered in a lot of people. They handed out barf bags with the tickets. Yeah, people would faint and cry. It was a big thing. They'd never seen anything like this movie.
Yeah.
And if you think back to the days of the Hays Code, even a decade earlier with Psycho, everything was very tasteful and you couldn't swear. Everything was implied. And suddenly you have The Exorcist where Reagan is going, "You cocksucker, motherfucker."
Yeah.
And then fingering herself with a cross.
Yeah.
So that's shocking.
I mean, I don't know how they got an R rating.
Yeah, actually, people were confused why it did not get rated X.
Yeah.
Because Midnight Cowboy was rated X.
Yeah.
And you can see that version today, which is now rated R. It is not even close to The Exorcist.
No.
Wow.
Not as intense, not as like
No.
whatever you would call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, But maybe the way they got away with it because the religious nuts who would be going after this also hate the devil and they want to exorcise the devil. Maybe that's why.
There's a little bit of
and there's
that.
2 priests in it, so they're trying to save this girl. And maybe that's the reasoning that they were able to not get the wrath of the Catholic Church or anyone.
And it sort of hits all those right notes because if you're religious, great, this shows that the devil's real.
Yeah.
And that you can fight the devil with prayer.
Exactly.
And if you're an atheist, it's just like a really sick horror movie.
Yeah, these like demonic things, because the Bible actually is crazier than The Exorcist.
Yeah. I mean, I saw The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah,
that was intense too.
That's a horror movie unto itself.
Yeah. And so are Mel Gibson's audio tapes.
Yeah.
So let's watch a scene from The Exorcist now. Let's see what all the fuss was about, in case you forgot. This film was rated PG, by the way.
How do you like me now?
The soul is mine. Fuck me! Fuck me!
Stick your cock up her ass, you motherfucking worthless cocksucker.
Be silent!
Oh, the movie is freaky. It still works. That's why people still say that it's the greatest horror movie. It's really up there for me because what movie has come close to the depiction of the devil and evil and being possessed like this one?
And
People
just
have tried.
her face when I was a kid scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Like all you had to see was her. She didn't have to do anything except look at you, and
it's one location too.
Yeah.
It's not like they go into like some big cavernous set piece, where that changes all the time. It's like one spot, and just the idea of that happening to a young girl is just scary enough.
Yep.
And with a budget of $12 million, it grossed over $400 million lifetime, which we debated whether that included the 2000 version. Probably did.
Yeah.
Nominated for Best Picture, Blatty actually won for Adapted Screenplay. He adapted it himself from his own book.
Wow.
And it's the second highest grossing Warner Brothers film of all time when adjusted for inflation. Number 1 is...
Batman.
Barbie.
Barbie.
Wow.
Hot off it.
I'm just the Exorcist. Just can get it?
What's that?
Okay, forget it.
Okay.
Can you push that button again?
That's a record. We got 2 stinkers.
And it's the highest grossing R-rated movie for Warner Brothers, adjusted for inflation.
Wow.
But was there a curse? An on-set fire of the McNeil house delayed production for a month. Turns out a pigeon had flown into a light box.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellen
Hey,
Burstyn told author Peter Biskin in the book Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, How the Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Generation Saved Hollywood. She told the author, Friedkin was always great with me, except when he permanently injured my spine.
What?
So we were talking about how maybe the cinema verite style might have helped the French Connection.
Mm.
Certainly helped The Exorcist. That scene she's talking about is the one we were just kind of watching, where Reagan is going nuts and screaming, and then the bookcase is flying across the room, shutting the door, and Ellen Burstyn is thrown to the floor. Well, they did that with rope, and apparently they tugged really hard, and then Ellen Burstyn said it really hurt, and so then on the next take, they tugged harder.
Ugh.
And she was severely injured.
Jeez.
And obviously... Linda Blair was actually a kid, and I cannot imagine how traumatic. They say that she was well adjusted and that they made sure that she was able to go through with that, but I don't know. What kid could really deal with that?
I think they really gave her pneumonia because they froze the room up to make
it looks. You could see the free. It looks fucking.
They
freezing.
used industrial restaurant freezers to get the breath.
Really?
In the exorcism scenes, so you could only shoot for a limited amount of time, and it was negative 20 degrees in there.
Yeah, so she ended up getting really sick.
Yeah, everyone would have. Yeah.
And you're working.
Not to mention the deaths that happened.
You're working long hours, and then after she shoots all that, she has to watch the movie, and that's another layer of
I know
psychosis.
She was nominated for an Oscar, Linda Blair, but I don't know if that's enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was in Playboy.
There were some people died after filming their scenes. Vasiliki Milaros, who played the priest Kara's mom, she died shortly after completing her scenes. And then another actor, Jack McGowan, who played a film director that's killed by Reagan in the movie, he died right after filming his scenes.
Wow.
Not on set, though. And then other deaths during production include a studio night watchman, an assistant cameraman's baby, and Max von Sydow's brother.
Jeez.
But Max says that it was a long shoot, 9 months, a year. A lot of things happen in that time.
Yeah.
Well, that guy Von Sydow, he's seen some shit, so
Yeah.
probably nothing for him.
Well, that brings us to the real story of The Exorcist. The possession of Roland Doe, fake name.
Roland and Doe.
obviously. Or sometimes known as Robbie Mineham.
What?
Because his real name wasn't revealed at this time. Roland was born an only child in 1935 in Cottage City, Maryland, near Washington, D.C., to a government employee, Charles, and his wife, Gladys. Also fake names. His Aunt Hattie taught him how to use the Ouija board. She was a spiritualist who believed in life after death and communicated with the dead.
I wonder if they use the fake names because it's like a HIPAA violation if they don't do that, even for exorcisms.
On Saturday, July 15th, 1949, HIPAA wasn't the only thing being violated if you hear the rest of the story.
Yeah.
When Roland was 13 years old, January 1949, he was home alone with his grandma, who also lived at the house.
Unrelated to the movie.
Yeah, not related to the Kevin McAllister story.
Oh, okay. I was like, what movie are you talking about? They heard dripping sounds coming from her bedroom. They also noticed the painting of Jesus Christ on the wall was shaking.
Jesus
Christ.
When his Jesus Christ. Could you fix that painting? When his parents got home, they started to hear scratching at the door.
Who is it?
As if someone's nails were dragging across the wood.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, that's how people start like knocking on doors. Hello, who is it?
Yeah, can you guys continue to do the sound effects as I do the story? This is going to be our little radio hour here.
Yeah,
perfect.
okay.
It was probably just rodents, they figured. About a week later, Aunt Hattie died unexpectedly. Roland tried to communicate with her through the Ouija board.
Hello.
The scratching sounds stopped. But then Roland heard sounds in his room, like voices whispering.
Hey, Roland.
And marching feet.
I know you cheated on me.
One evening, he sat on his bed with his mom and grandma, and they asked if Aunt Hattie was the one who was making the noises. They talked to her directly. Like, yo, if it's you, Aunt Hattie.
Hey, Hattie.
What kind of family is this?
We've had enough of you, bitch.
Then knock 3 times to prove it. And sure enough, there were 3 thuds on the floor.
Knock 3 times on the ceiling.
They did another
You're
test.
in love with me.
They did another test asking for 4 knocks. And again, Aunt Hattie seemed to comply.
Hey, gotta love 4 knockers, you know what I mean?
After this, scratching sounds could be heard coming from the mattress, making it shake violently. This continued for a matter of weeks. The entity didn't stay home, though. It followed Roland to school and caused his desk to slide around the classroom. At his house, things continued to be chaotic. Furniture would fly across the room. Books would fall to the floor, and Roland's clothes were strewn all over the kitchen. He pleaded his innocence to his parents while sitting in an armchair, which then proceeded to float in the air and turn upside down, throwing Roland onto the floor before the chair followed suit. His peers at school made fun of him and said that he was playing tricks.
Loser.
His parents consulted with physicians, psychiatrists, and a psychologist, and none of them could find anything wrong with Roland.
This kid's nuts.
Desperate, they turned to their Lutheran minister, Reverend Schulze. He was empathetic to their situation, but secretly believed Roland was merely playing tricks on them.
Schulze.
Time to play a trick on you. Sit on my lap.
One particularly frightening night, Roland's parents heard screams emanating from his bedroom. And when they ran in to assist him, a heavy dresser slid towards the door, blocking their exit. Then the drawers began opening and closing on their own. Word began to spread about the Doe household. Reverend Schulze convinced the family to attend Sunday communion. He had heard the rumors that Roland might be possessed, so he thought prayer could help. And he even offered to host Roland for the night to give the parents a break.
Yeah, I'll have him in my bed.
Yeah, come on in here, kid.
Yeah.
After some prayer, the kid's like, I'd rather have the demon.
We're going to need a smaller bed.
Step on in here.
They said some prayers and then both went to sleep in their separate beds, but in the same room.
Yeah, we're just going to push these together, okay?
Like Neverland Ranch. Around midnight, Roland's bed began shaking.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. He's in with a priest.
Yeah, the beds are shaking. Don't come and knock. Demons.
He seemed to be in a daze, lying completely still.
There's demons under the sheets.
They went downstairs to cool off and have some hot cocoa.
Sure they did.
They had some
Hey,
hot,
let's have a drink.
They had some hot cocoa. You know, Roland was loco for his cocoa.
Yeah.
Let's take a breather, kid.
And then returned to the bedroom to wind down.
Yeah.
Roman sat
Round two.
Roman sat in a big chair for a few minutes with the light on. I don't know why it says big chair. But then the chair lifted up into the air and threw Roland onto the floor.
On top of old Roland.
The Reverend threw a blanket on top of him and went back to sleep because he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to move the kid himself, you know?
Sure.
Doesn't want to be accused of things, you know?
Well, I think it's too late for that.
Then around 3 a.m.,
that ship has sailed.
he woke up to see Roland sliding across the floor on top of the blankets. He slid under the bed and then rose up off the floor and started hitting the bottom of the mattress. When the Reverend pulled him from underneath the bed, his face was scratched and cut up, and there seemed to be no life in his eyes. Now he was starting to believe that this boy might be possessed. His cuts almost resembled letters of the alphabet, as if somebody was trying to communicate from the great beyond. Boy, the sound effects really cooled off.
It got too real.
The Catholic Church believes that people can be possessed by demons and that it can be cured by exorcism. Because of this, although the family was Lutheran, they contacted a Catholic priest for help. His name was Father E. Albert Hughes. Upon hearing the story of Roland's possession, he felt that it was a little out of his wheelhouse. He wished them luck and offered a prayer, some holy water, and a few candles.
I think that's what I would do. Be like,
Good luck.
This is too big of a job for me. You know, I gotta know the perfect guy for this. Anyone but me.
I tried everything I knew. Don't come back to my house again.
Who you gonna call?
Not the police, please.
Someone else.
Someone else, not me. Here's some. He just splashes water on him. Get out of here.
Gladys, the mom, called Father Hughes again the next day and said that the bottle of holy water had been found shattered. And then when she tried to light the candle, a huge flame erupted and kissed the ceiling, forcing her to extinguish it immediately. What is this, the station nightclub?
He directs her to like the Vatican 1-800 line. Yeah, call customer service. They'll help you out.
Then the phone line cut out. Father Hughes contacted the Archbishop of Washington, D.C., explained the situation, and was given a green light to perform an exorcism, even though he had no prior experience. The plans were made in complete secrecy with no records being kept. Convenient.
Yeah.
Roland was taken to Georgetown Hospital in February 1949.
To the exorcism unit?
They strapped Roland to the bed and Father Hughes began reciting prayers. It wasn't long before a piece of the bed spring was ripped off and sliced into Father Hughes' arm.
Oh, shit.
This ended the exorcism. Father Hughes was always haunted by the experience and never regained full use of his arm.
Getting too over this shit.
Things continued to be bad in the Doe household. The family was deciding whether to move away. One day, they heard screams coming from the bathroom and found bloody lettering scratched on Roland's chest, the name Lewis and the word Sunday. The family then took a train to St. Louis, on Saturday, March 5th to visit relatives. Well, the Lewis part kind of already makes sense, right?
They had a nice ice cream sundae.
While there, they continued to believe that Aunt Hattie was the cause of all their problems. They used the Ouija board to try and communicate with her and tell her to please stop. This was followed by the usual furniture moving and hijinks. By this point, no Lutheran minister felt they were equipped to help Roland. So the family contacted another Jesuit priest named Father Raymond Bishop, head of the Department of Education at St. Louis University. He met Roland and performed what they call a soft exorcism, which involves sprinkling holy water and blessing each room. He witnessed the screams and the usual demonic phenomena. He then wrote a letter to the Archbishop and was authorized to perform a full-on exorcism with his friend, Father William Bodern, and a young Jesuit student named Walter Halloran. They each carried a copy of the 400-page Roman ritual, which outlined the 21 steps that needed to be followed.
Step number 1, we're Halloran here, hollering, he out.
The 3 main prayers were Principio, I command, Exorcicho,
Ocho Cinco,
Exorcicho te, I cast thee out, and Adjuro te, I adjure thee.
I never understood how they just yelled at the, get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, that's not going to do anything.
Piss off, ghost.
Hey, fuck off. Fungal out of here.
Once they got to the house, they entered Roland's room with his mom and aunt and uncle following behind. They recited the prayer commands and threw holy water as Roland thrashed around. At one point, the word hell was written out on his chest in scratches.
That was always creepy to me how it got written from the inside and that just appeared on the body.
Yeah.
That's always creepy.
This went on until 5 a.m. when Roland fell into a deep sleep. The 3 holy men were extremely exhausted. They decided it was time to leave. But as they were walking out, Roland suddenly sat up and began singing Swanee River in an over-the-top manner, with his arms swaying wildly and his eyes tightly shut.
Swanee River.
Doing a dance number.
Hello, my lady.
The Michigan River.
Then he moved on to Old Man River.
Well, that's kind of like what's Spaceballs. Remember when the alien comes out of the guy's stomach, does like a show tune? Hello, my lady. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Al Jolson goes, hey, you're stealing my act. You want to borrow some of this cork?
What do you call this thing? The aristocrats.
The priests ended up staying a few more hours and then decided it was best if they came back another time. The exorcism continued for 4 more nights, and Roland's demonic behavior escalated. For instance, he would urinate during symbolic parts of Latin prayers.
That's kind of funny.
And his speaking voice fluctuated from very deep growls
Johnny. Hello, Johnny. Remember me?
To high-pitched squeals. And lots of maniacal laughter. The next step was to convert Roland to Catholicism.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
That'll fix you.
You thought there was going to be a happy ending.
Yeah.
But his father, Bodern, started the formal prayer titled Litany of the Saints. Roland began spitting, kicking, and taunting him mercilessly.
That's how I used to go to church.
Kicking and screaming and spitting.
Yeah, spitting and possessed by the devil. I don't want to go to church.
He told Father Bodern, I'm in hell. I see you. You're in hell. It's 1957.
Wait, what? Wait,
And-
he's just reminding him of the year?
No, this is 1949.
Ooh.
So what that
Wait a
means is
second.
he's seeing into the future that Father Bodern is going to be in hell.
You're going to die
Well,
up there.
Yeah.
Who knows what he's up to, after this.
The Catholic conversion and exorcism were ultimately completed, but did not work in exorcising the demon.
Well, they didn't really do the job there.
Roland returned to stay at his uncle's house in St. Louis, and things were quiet for a little while.
Okay.
But then one night he went downstairs and said his feet were hurting and requested that everybody come up to his room. Then, using his fingers, Roland traced out the following words on his bed sheets. All people that mangle with me will die a terrible death. Father Bodern returned with another priest named Father Van Roo. As they began reciting more prayers, Roland requested a pencil and began to scribble disturbing images and random gibberish, including the sketch of a human face next to the words "Dead Bishop." Dead Bishop. On April 1st, 1949, he said, "April Fools." No, the holy team decided to baptize Roland, whose behavior was getting increasingly violent. On the way to college church, Roland grabbed the wheel of the family car and tried to run it into a lamppost. Luckily, his uncle pulled the emergency brake just in time.
Ooh, this kid is a shitty... He's just a shitty kid, I think.
The baptism ceremony took about 4 hours. However, the demonic behavior continued. So then on April 2nd, Father Bodern had the idea to go further and performed Holy Communion. But that didn't work either. So Roland was admitted to the mental ward of the Alexian Brothers Hospital in St. Louis. Or Elation.
Only thing that could save this guy is some holy cannoli.
Wrong one.
Nope, right one.
No.
That worked.
Wrong one.
He assaulted several staff members and began speaking in what they called the devil's voice. Roland's face was now so distorted that he looked like a completely different person.
I'm ugly now.
It's your face.
On April 18th, which happens to be the birthday of James Woods and Conan O'Brien,
Okay.
Father Bodern had a revelation. He remembered that the demon voice once said that he only spoke the tongue of the person he possessed. So that evening, Father Bodern recited the prayers in Latin as per usual, but then told Roland to respond to him in English. He placed a crucifix in Roland's hand, which caused him to start shaking and thrashing. He threw the crucifix onto the floor, and they held him down. After a while, Bodern gave him rosary beads and helped him recite the Apostles' Creed. After the
No relation to the fighter from Rocky.
No, or the band.
Or Assassin's Creed.
After the final amen around 11 p.m., Roland said something remarkable in a new voice that Father Bodern hadn't heard before. I command you, Satan, and the other evil spirits to leave the body in the name of Dominus. Roland screamed and writhed in pain for a few minutes before suddenly stopping and whispering, "He's gone." Roland then opened his eyes and told everyone he felt okay. His family and the priest claimed they felt the demon's presence leaving the room. Roland woke up the next morning singing, "Hello, my lady. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal."
Michigan rag.
He was still feeling good and attended mass. Afterwards, he returned to the hospital and had a nap. When he woke up, he asked the workers, "Where am I? What happened?" Then, as if on cue, a loud sound was heard throughout the hospital. When Roland finally left, the door to his room was locked and never opened again. The building was eventually demolished, and the Jesuit community took a vow of secrecy. The story remained a secret until 40 years later, when some of the details showed up in William Peter Blatty's popular novel, The Exorcist. The full story was finally told in the 1993 book Possessed by author Thomas Allen, which itself was later turned into a movie in the year 2000.
In the year 2000!
Starring Timothy Dalton and Christopher Plummer. It was based on Father Raymond Bishop's diary and was met with a lot of skepticism. One historian named Mark Opasnik noted that over 100 people who were interviewed and had known Roland Doe growing up said he was a notorious prankster who loved scaring people. Also, one of the Jesuit priests who was first contacted to look into the case in 1949 brushed it off, concluding that all of the reported phenomena could be accounted for naturally. Paisnel wrote, quote, "The facts showed that he was a spoiled and disturbed only child with a very overprotective mother and an unresponsive father."
I believe that this is usually the case. It's just the person is an asshole. Not the devil.
The Skeptical Inquirer reported the true identity of Roland as Ronald Edwin Hunkeler.
Yeah, see that? It's always the name.
Hunkala.
The shitty name.
And he died in May 2020.
Wow.
Of Hunkala disease.
William Peter Blatty first heard about the
He
case.
choked on a Hunkala of cheese.
William Peter Blatty first heard about the case when he was a student at Georgetown University in 1950, and it stuck with him. Thoughts?
Everyone hears a story like that, only like local people know about sometimes. And it's interesting, but I always stick by my guns that it's just a shitty kid.
Or he could have been a traumatized kid being victimized by pedophiles.
Yeah, that could have been it too. Yeah, these priests could have been buggering him.
Yeah.
Maybe Salvo went over and paid him a visit too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Bring him to my house, have him do some toughness drills.
Put this kid to work.
Yeah, we'll never know, I guess.
Yeah.
Although clearly he was acting out.
Yeah.
Because I've heard there's no proof of any of this.
Yeah.
No.
It's all based on hearsay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's never any video of stuff like this.
Yeah, obviously back then, but you'd see the kid
There's no Blu-ray of this.
like Linda Blair bouncing off walls and shit, We have no proof of this. And it's all people that are very devout Catholics that are, or just devout Christians that sometimes, they get carried away.
Yeah. I love the idea of like this all-powerful Satan being thrust away by someone just going, "Get away!" And they're like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll leave this person alone."
Well, they said it 3 times in Latin, so we should go.
Oh, yeah. That's my cue.
It's about time.
Begone, evil demon, and feast on this holy water.
Oh, shit. My bad.
Yeah. No, okay. You don't have to, no more holy water.
Oh, I'll get out of here.
And the demon always goes, "Aye!"
Yeah.
When the water hits them.
They're like, I had to leave anyway. I had a thing anyway. I'm not just leaving this kid because you're telling me to.
I had something going on.
This is not my whole night.
Okay, so I think that brings us to another nightmare.
Oh, I can't even do it. It's too high pitched.
Yeah, man.
A nightmare on Elm Street.
On Elm Street.
Ooh.
Yes. With a name that was brought up by accident, but nevertheless was brought up, Mr. Wes Craven.
Yes.
The creator of Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy Krueger, the character.
Your favorite.
Yes, my favorite. I'm wearing the shirt.
They called him Craven Slavin.
And I got my Michael Myers shirt.
There you go.
We've often debated who's cooler.
Yeah.
And I have just a plain black T-shirt, which we can transpose something on later.
Mark has exercised his legs.
Yeah.
So that's...
Those are my demons, if you know what I'm talking about.
Mark is representing his favorite movie, Pitch Black.
Yes.
Yes.
Starring Vin Diesel.
What was it? Marcus Hunter or something?
He has a really generic name.
I like the one where he's playing the defense attorney. He represents himself. Hey, I'm a fucking crazy attorney.
Find me guilty.
Yeah, find me. Yeah, good call. Yes.
Find me guilty. My name's Mark Sinclair.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark Sinclair, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street's actually, an amalgamation of a number of true stories that have happened.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, so was this based on Edward Scissorhands at all? Or did it have anything to do with that?
This was way before.
Way before. Okay.
Come on.
Mark, I'm not sure I'm following you.
The logic?
Yeah.
Well, it's two guys that have, fucking blades for fingers. Am I wrong to make
They got blades for fingers, man.
Hey, man, what am I, Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Hey, man, they got blades for fingers. That's kind of wild when you think about it. Huh?
You got blades for days, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wes Craven, he had already worked on The Last House on the Left, as well as The Hills Have Eyes, which were 2 big horror movies in the 70s.
Cult classics.
Yeah.
Low budget, big earners.
Yeah. So his name was, getting up there as one of the guys to work with in suspense and horror. thriller films, things that make you not sleep so good. And he was kind of at an impasse because he wanted to find like the next project he wanted to create himself. And he really wasn't finding anything until he saw several newspaper articles printed in the LA Times in the 1970s about refugees to the United States due to the war and genocide in Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam.
Yeah, they were mostly the southern Vietnamese who the U.S. was allied with, and then were going to become huge targets of the northern Vietnamese in the communists after the fall of Saigon. So they had to come out, and a lot of them went to Southern California. A lot of them went to Rhode Island, actually. There's like a couple of huge towns of Hmong Vietnamese there, and some in Massachusetts. And yeah, there are certain pockets where, the government did fly them in and like create entire communities around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was a community in Fond du Lac as well.
Oh,
really?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they literally started having these crazy episodes where, these traumatized people who escaped from all these killing fields came to America and would be screaming in their sleep and then all of a sudden die while they were sleeping.
Oh, my God.
The medical authorities in the U.S. originally called the phenomenon Asian death syndrome.
Jesus
Which is
Christ.
not,
The China virus.
Yeah, pretty much.
People are saying that they're dying while they're asleep.
Yeah.
People are saying, a lot of people.
It's mutating.
Yeah. I'm going into this character. It's like evil Trump now. He's already evil.
He's possessed.
Yeah. So the condition afflicted men between the ages of 19 and 57 and was believed to be sudden unexplained death syndrome or Brugada syndrome or both.
The Brugada, isn't that place in New Jersey where there's a comedy event?
It sounds like
Come on down to the Brugada.
The Brugada.
Atlantic City.
Yeah, well, Artie Lang's going to be open for Colin Quinn.
It sounds like a Jersey dude. Brugada solved this problem, yo.
Gotta fix this shit.
Gotta figure this out.
Yeah, Brugada, wake up, bro.
Yeah.
Brugada, survive this bad nightmare, bro.
Brugada try this bruschetta.
Yeah, you hear fucking Joey Molinari just got a brand new Brugada. He's fucking driving it.
Fucking thing flies.
Yeah, that thing's fast as shit, man.
Yeah, give me one of them cannolis with a side of Brugada.
Hey, you got to try this fucking Brugada. Our own. Forget about it, okay?
Brugada, Fugada, you know what I mean?
How can I put you in this brand new Brugada?
Brugada give me $30K off.
Give me a break, kid. Brugada.
Brugada about it.
Brugada about it. That's the name of the episode here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, Brugada syndrome is a genetic disorder that affects the electrical activity of the heart. And it increases your risk of dying of sudden cardiac death because the electricity and all that stuff. Ain't working so right.
Says the scientists and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Wes Craven explains how he came up with the idea based on the articles that he was reading.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Nightmare on Elm Street came out of a series of articles in the LA Times, if I'm not mistaken, starting in, I would guess, in the late 70s. They were, as I remember, about 3 to 6 months apart, and they were not correlated. That is, the LA Times, for whatever reasons, did not sort of catch that they had a story about this before. They were all very small, and essentially they would go like, some young man, usually of Southeast Asian origin, had been reported to have died in the middle of a nightmare.
Yeah. And yeah, it was happening in different places, and nobody really knew that it was happening to the same type of people that were coming out of the same area.
I like how American foreign policy, not only are we exporting our horrors of war onto other areas, we're importing it back home afterwards.
Yeah.
And we're still inflicting the horror back on those poor people who had to deal with all this.
Yeah, let's repurpose this horror.
Yeah, thank you, Kissinger. You scumbag.
A fascinating idea, though.
Yeah.
Because Toby Hooper did the same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Part of it is based on Ed Gein.
Yeah.
But also the atrocities of the Vietnam War.
Oh, really? Okay.
Dealing with the violence.
The 1970s pop song Dreamweaver by Gary Wright, which is usually like a super happy, like they use it as the hot girl that walks into the room and the guy falls in love with her.
From Wayne's World.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That actually helped Wes Craven solidify the idea, and it gave him an artistic setting to jump off from and a synthesizer riff for the movie soundtrack. So that's why it's very heavy on the synth.
Yeah. Well, synth is easy to get away with because it's simple and you could just it builds suspense and it works so well in a horror setting.
Eerie.
Yeah, it's eerie.
And by the way, Gary Wright recently passed away. The singer of Dreamweaver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And actually, the film's villain, Freddy Krueger, who we all know, is actually drawn from Craven's childhood. There was a night that he was trying to sleep outside, or he was trying to sleep inside.
Do you mind? I'm trying to sleep in the yard.
I'm sleep out here. Brugada, shut that shit down over there.
These goddamn raccoons are so noisy.
I'm trying to have a freaking nightmare out here. Give me a break. On a street, on a road. What street do we call? What street is this?
I'm trying to get attacked by a wrinkly-faced creep. Do you mind?
I'm trying to have a nightmare of freaking Elm Street over here.
I ate too much Brugada.
Who do I gotta blow to have a Brugada out here?
My stomach hurts.
Oh, shit. He was trying to sleep, couldn't sleep because he was hearing some guys stumbling around outside in the trash. And he looked out.
Dad?
Yeah. Papa? He saw this elderly man stumbling outside drunk out of the window of his home. And he was wearing a fedora. And
Oof, that enough said.
yeah. And just looked up and stared at a young Wes Craven.
He just hissed
in the
at him.
window.
He wags his tongue.
Bro, gotta go to bed.
That's one of my favorite parts of Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure when he's in the rain and he's just walking like this. One of the ruffians from the town goes, "Hey, buddy, you're in the wrong part of town," and Pee Wee Herman just goes.
That is one of the best parts.
He just hisses at him, and the guys are like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" Okay. Maybe he thought he was gonna start jerking off or something.
Somehow Pee Wee knows exactly how to handle that situation.
Yeah, it's at him.
Oh,
but that would freak me out in the middle of the night, just some homeless guy just staring up at me.
Oh, God.
With a fedora?
Yeah.
Did he have the sweater on? Was that added later?
No, that was added later. The reason he added those two specific colors is because he read in like Scientific magazine that red and green were the most like dissonant colors and created the most feeling of tension when humans looked at it.
It's funny how how much changing around of this stuff and trying to find the perfect balance of all these things. It's not like something just comes to you right immediately. It's like an amalgamation of things, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Red and green. So is that why people are so stressed out at Christmas time?
Could be.
Yeah, probably.
One of the many reasons, yeah. So, like I said, Freddy Krueger was drawn from this guy, but the actual name Fred came from Wes Craven's childhood bully. And so he always kind of used Freddy Krueger.
Nick Stahl?
Nick Stahl from Bully, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Kyle was like, does not compute.
What?
I need the button a third time.
3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah. This bully Freddy was like, "Hey, Craven, you piece of shit. Come over here so I can kick you in the nuts."
I'm craving for another wedgie, nerd.
Bru gotta get over here so I can kick your ass.
Bru gotta get this wedgie.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Let's wax Craven's ass. What? Yeah. Everyone go along with this.
Yeah.
He wrote the first draft of the screenplay while stuffed in a locker.
Yeah.
Interior locker.
It's dark. Can't really see anything.
It's
young
raining.
West-
It's definitely. I'm not crying. It's definitely raining.
A young West with a freshly waxed ass. is thinking about how he got here. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Wedgie kind of itches. Can't scratch it.
Yeah. So this kid Fred.
I can
Krueger-
hear you writing in there. I can tell you the screenplay is gonna suck. Stage directing's crap.
Yeah, the bully reads the pages. Nightmare on Elm Street. This is trash.
Yeah, this totally doesn't work out.
The third act goes on way too long.
Makes no sense.
You gotta rein it in a little. Kind of like me stuffing you in this locker.
Yeah.
Queer.
Yeah. You read Save the Cat, you fucking piece of shit. This is no hero's journey. This sucks.
So Nightmare on Elm Street was not the first time that Freddy Krueger was used. It was actually used in The Last House on the Left, where the villain's name was shortened to Krug.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was originally intended to be the Fred Krueger.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is that the same character?
No.
He didn't become Freddy.
Nah. Just from the same pot
We all
of
become
creativity.
Freddy at some point.
Yeah. He also, wanted to make Freddy different from other horror film villains of that era, like we already talked about. Everybody else was wearing masks. Jason, Michael Myers, Leatherface. He wanted his villain to have, a scary look, but be able to talk and taunt and threaten, which I think is the best way to go.
Yeah, those other guys aren't too talkative, are they?
No, that's the scariest part to me when I was a kid, was that Freddy was laughing the whole time he was killing people.
Yeah.
Like, that's so
Right.
scary.
He's a better audience. Like, Michael, come on, could you give me something?
Yeah.
I'm trying these jokes out on you. You're just looking at me.
Yeah.
Ha ha! Yeah, he's just got that evil. He's got that nose too. I think that's naturally how what's his name looks. Like
Robert Englund.
Robert Englund already looks like that kind of. So you're just like, man, he already looks kind of creepy without the mask on.
Yeah.
The leaf blower from the Halloween set.
Yeah, also known as
Yeah, so he was thinking about the weapon of choice too, and he was like, I was thinking about a glove with knives, and then for the first few drafts, he was like, nah, sickle's gonna be better, and then it was like the fourth draft of the script, he was just like, you know what, I'm doing the glove with the knives, and that's it. And then, it became what it became. It was all because of these refugees that escaped being killed only to die in their nightmares, and then mixed with this creepy old drunk that was outside of his window when he was a kid, mixed with his bully as a child. So
wow.
What if one of these Hmong Vietnamese guys went to like a
screening and died?
No, an insane asylum. They dealt with the issues. 20 years later, they come out, they see this movie, and then they fucking die right afterwards. Just like it was too much for them to take. They had been rehabilitated.
Yeah, Jesus.
And it just brought up all that shit again.
But what are they doing going to a horror movie?
Yeah, right when they get out of the psychiatric ward. The bus drops them right off at the movie theater.
No, they force the people in the psych ward to watch the movie.
Yeah.
With their eyes taped open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Clockwork Orange.
And can you refresh us with the plot of Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yes. So Wes Craven originally wanted it to be like a child molester that worked at the school, and he was like the janitor. He was like touching kids at the school.
God.
But then it turned out that
It was too close to Victor Salva's story.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be accused of plagiarism.
Yeah.
From real life.
Coppola's like, no, we already have that story.
So instead, to classing up the joint, they thought it was better for him to be a child killer. So he's the Springwood slasher, because this was all taking place in Springwood,
Illinois.
They never really say, but it could be.
Okay.
Actually, let me look that up.
Yeah, it seems Midwestern a little bit in the movie.
Yeah, well, everything. I think that's intentional. Just like we were talking about earlier. Just a better selling point.
Yeah,
because people can relate to the Midwest better than the coast and all that shit.
People can fuck a Midwest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how those studio executives talk. We need a place that's
What are they?
fuckable.
Brett Ratner. They're all Brett Ratner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to fuck this town, or I want to fuck the earth. And Weinstein's like, yeah, I want to jerk off on a plant.
It's Springwood, Ohio.
Ah,
It's always the Midwest.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Really is. Wow.
That works out.
Yeah. And it was, the Nightmare on Elm Street house, the iconic house is actually over. I've been to it in Hollywood.
It's crazy that everything's just shot here.
It's just like a small pocket of Hollywood that does actually look like the Midwest as well.
Well, these neighborhoods and all these sets are like really tight intentionally just so they don't have to like spend a bunch of money. And it's just a lot of smoke machines and a lot of like good disguises and stuff.
Yeah. There's also one last true part of the story that many people don't know, and I just found out recently while I was researching this. Elm Street was chosen not only because literally they say in the movie every town has an Elm Street, but it's also the street that JFK was assassinated on. And he said that was the beginning of the American Nightmare.
Wow.
And I didn't know that when I went to Dallas, and I was actually standing in that road. I didn't even realize it was Elm Street. So,
So the CIA
missed that one.
Is at fault.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they team up and murder Freddy Krueger. They burn him to death.
Yes.
And then he starts showing up in people's dreams.
The whole neighborhood gets together and they kill this guy?
Yeah, as they burn the place down, they actually show in one of the movies the dream demons show up and we're like, we can give you life forever. And he's like, okay. And then for some reason, dream demons allow him to. I don't think they even should have explained that part because then it gets too wacky.
I don't think you should have explained that either.
Did this become before or after Scary Terry from Rick and Morty?
Oh, Scary Terry. That was so awesome. That was episode 2 of Rick and Morty. And I couldn't believe that they were already referencing Freddy Krueger in it. It was great.
Great character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have that clip.
She was like the Jamie Lee Curtis of this series.
The tongue.
Just a little tongue flick for you.
That wakes her up. Is that when she gets the gray hair? She's like, whoa, you got gray hair now.
It happens a little later in the movie, but yeah.
Because, yeah. Oh, that's a lady from Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Kingpin, she also does a tongue wagging.
Yeah.
Munson, you still owe me another month's rent.
I like when she comes in later. She brings a big bottle of cheap booze. She goes, I know how much you like to drink.
Yeah.
What is it about good sex that makes me have to crap? Then he just pukes again into the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It is.
Yeah, so that is the stories behind the story of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Man, what a nightmare.
Wow, we really went through it today.
We did.
We went through the ringer.
Yeah.
Who knew that these horror movies were so real?
Very real.
Yeah.
And The Exorcist Believer is currently out right now.
Yeah, I believe it should not be out anymore.
So that Danny McBride and David Gordon Green, we talked about how they shit on Halloween earlier.
Yep, they had some dump left over to take a nice steamy one on top of the Exorcist franchise.
Yeah, so they paid Blumhouse is the company that produced the other new Halloweens and the new Exorcist movies. They spent $400 million to secure the rights.
Wait, that was recently?
Yeah, for this new Exorcist.
Wait, was it in Miramax or was it definitely Blumhouse?
Blumhouse.
Because there was some confusion. Some people said it was A24, which
No.
they don't have that type of money.
So even though it bombed at the box office, it didn't do very well when it opened recently.
Mm-hmm.
There's still going to be 2 films made because that was the deal. And Ellen Burstyn stated in an interview that she accepted the offer solely for the money, which she promptly donated to charity.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and then after William Friedkin died, a film critic named Ed Whitfield posted this message on Twitter. Quote, William Friedkin once said to me, Ed, the guy who made those new Halloween sequels is about to make one to my movie, The Exorcist. That's right. My signature film is about to be extended by the man who made Pineapple Express. I don't want to be around when that happens. But if there's a spirit world and I can come back, I plan to possess David Gordon Green and make his life a living hell.
You gotta put a bullet through my head. Wow.
That is so fucking funny.
Oh my god!
Imagine you're David Gordon Green and you're like, Jesus Christ. And he does shit on a movie that I like, Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
And you are one of the few.
I like that movie.
I thought it was fine.
Oh, now you're saying that.
I didn't say it was one of my favorite movies.
Last time we talked about it, you weren't so complimentary.
I thought it was fine.
Fair weather fucking friend, motherfucker.
Wow,
I love Gary Cole.
Yeah, Gary Cole's great. I love the goal.
The goal. We got to see the goal. Cole.
What was it? Bill
Lumberg.
Lumberg. Yeah, Lumberg fucked her.
Yep.
The kid would have hooves.
And on that note, we have a new video on Patreon that features the real story of Bully.
Yes.
And it's fascinating.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
And if you're going to go to our Patreon, make sure you go to actually just type it into your browser there, because we are shadow banned from Patreon search.
Bastards.
Yeah, so just go to patreon.com/deathinentertainment.
We're too hot for Patreon.
Yeah, we got adult content, they say.
We sure do.
Yeah, and if you want to see other stuff that we post on social media, on Twitter @DiePod2021, on Instagram and TikTok, it's @deathinentertainment, and on Gmail, shoot us something nice, deathinentertainment@gmail.com.
And until next week,
don't go dying on us.
Bye-bye.
You have just heard
A true Hollywood murder mystery.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.